absolutely 100% love this place.
One of the cool things about watching you in Atlantis as Rowan Dex was just like your gun and how much impact
I got a
it
big
made.
gun, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that was really cool.
Tricks big gun.
Was
It's
it
ours.
was it as cool for you, like the impact it made? Was that like done afterwards? Like when you were actually acting, was it as fun?
I mean, that was really great acting. Not that guy, but when I was playing Roman Dex, because, you know, I don't make it, it's just like this, like, like you're a child, like having a fake war. Like everyone else gets like a P90 and blast and shit, and I'm all like, so they put it in afterwards. But like while I'm doing it, I feel like a total retard. I was like staring at it, I'm like, come on, more. I'm like, it's just like, oh, this is ridiculous. Or you're on like a puddle jumper and like, we're getting hit by it. Well, that's when you're really like questioning yourself as an actor. You're like in this little puddle jumper, you're in a closet with all your friends, and you're just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You're like, yeah, there's this huge ship exploding, and you're like, oh man. That's why Ronan's like, no, he doesn't care. Just stone face. And they'd be like, you're gonna get rocked by a shovel, and you get hit by this, and you just have to like throw yourself. I would literally want to knock myself out. I can just throw myself across the puddle jumper just to be out of the scene. That's what it's like. Being in a puddle jumper.
Yeah, back here.
Go ahead.
G'day. I was just wondering when you're coming back to Australia.
Anytime you invite me, I'm one of those people. I mean, I would love to come down and, you know, I'm just gonna keep making awesome fucking movies, and you just keep inviting me down here. How about that? Go ahead, Mike. Oh, 1 second. Go ahead. You know what? The first day at work was the scene where I had to do the gun runner, and I had to spin that thing around. And it was literally like 8 pounds. It was just solid steel, this thing. And it was like ripping my finger off trying to learn how to do it, but I wanted to do like, I'm never gonna play a cowboy. I mean, look at me. No. With dreadlocks. So I mean, like the opportunity to be like a samurai and also be like this gunslinger was so cool, and I wanted to learn those moves. So like literally on the day I was like sitting in the corner, playing with my big gun, just twirling around, and yeah, that's kind of gave birth to all that. And then one of the producers came up and said, "Would you stop spinning that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And so the next episode is one where like flip out, I did like 10 flips to it. So then they get the dailies and it's like, like tell Boy to stop flipping his gun, go fuck yourself. Go ahead.
Hi, just want to ask, with all the sword fighting you did for both Stargate and even Conan, how did you prepare for both roles, and how much training did you have for both the movie and for the series?
Well, I'm a huge Toshiro Mifune fan. If anyone knows who that is. He was like the Jimbo and he's in Seven Samurai. He's just a phenomenal 50s and 60s Japanese samurai or actor, but he did a lot of these Akira Kurosawa movies. So as a kid, I was just obsessed with samurais. And when I got on Stargate, Bam Bam, and some of the guys, we watched those movies, and I just wanted to do that. And then when I got Conan, we actually had a samurai sensei teach me how to do all that, so I wanted to wield like a big battle sword like a samurai. And yeah, so it's just an awesome, like to learn how to do that was amazing. And yeah, each show that you get on, you basically have someone that teaches you all this stuff. And I never knew how to do that beforehand. So like bullet to the head. I mean, I only shot fake guns on Stargate. So I mean, like I never really I grew up with a mother who watched like Rear Window and Gone with the Wind. Thank you. Everyone's like, what? So we never shot guns and stuff. So like, it's fun going to jobs and learning that kind of stuff. You're baffled, aren't you, dude? Either that or you're extremely bored. Anyone else?
Yeah, hi love. I'm from New Zealand and an huge All Black fan as well.
Round of applause.
Right?
I was up until early hours watching it as well. I'd just like to know, have you ever been in Conan and all that now, ever wanted to be in a Peter Jackson movie, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, anything he does? Because I think you'd be ace at the sword fighting in that.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Lord of the Rings was amazing. I just wrong place, wrong time. You know, I would love to have been in Lord of the Rings, but
You and Viggo Mortensen together would have been brilliant.
yeah, no, he's pretty brilliant. I'm a big fan of him. I definitely can't beat that. But thank you.
Hi.
It's like a bad dream. Am I naked now? Am I not? I need to figure out am I naked.
Dave Hewlett and Rainbow Franks mentioned that there was some pranks behind the scenes. What was your favourite prank that you may have played, and what was the favourite prank that was played on you?
No one would play a prank on me because I would infinitely give them back. I think one of my best pranks was how many kids are in here? There's a lot of kids in here? I'm make this really PG. No, there's no kids? Alright. Here we go. I've got two amazing ones. So we had this really hard day at we were at this factory, and it was just it's like where the rape live, and it smells like latex and it's horrible, and it's like stagnant air, and we called it Norco. It's like where they build the bikes. And so we were out at this studio. It was a big day, it was 14 hours of listening to David just like mindlessly horrible dialogue. And we got off, and me and Joe were just like spent. I used to ride Joe's, he had a driver, it was a big truck. Huge truck. So I'm in the back seat, we're just quiet, no one wants to talk. And we see David Hewlett, and he's driving down the road in his little mini, whatever, like he's like this Ford Festiva, which is basically like it's like a mini, right? Just geeking on down the road, and listening to his pop songs. And we pull up, rock and roll, and like, pull up next to David, pull up next to David. And so the driver's like, he rolls over next to it, we roll down the window, and I yanked, I mean, he sees everything. He can see what I had for lunch. Like, I'm just like, I've got my ass out, and I'm like, yeah! His face is just horror. You know, that this big eye, like, just absolute horror. And I'm like, yeah, good looking at it. And Joe and I were just dying. It was the greatest. We needed to laugh so bad, and it was the most beautiful. Just show someone your level, and you're like, you're instantly out of like that. Oh, it's just, you're gonna laugh. It was awesome. Because he's just irritated if you even touch him, you know what I mean? Like, just for him to see that, he's just so English and awkward. I'm sorry if people agree with me, but he really is just an awkward bird. It's great to just fluff him up. And another great David story, since we have time, is I had our child, me and my wife, and Jane, his wife, they were gonna have their child. And so me and Joe were staying at this hotel. I live with Joe, and so we're at the sudden, and we see these magazines, and it's this random magazine, like in the front, it was just God put it there for me to pluck it out. And it was just like this very ethnic, large, naked women. And I bought this pornography, and I took it to work, and we would write all these birthing instructions. Like, it feels really good if you rub right here for her, and like, this is also a comfortable position if you hold your hands right, and like, but it's just the most graphic, pornographic pictures, and me and David plastered Dave's wall with all of this pornography. And, you know, we're like, he's like, hey, how's it going? Hey, buddy, I'm in the trailer. And we're like, something. And he walks in, and he's just like, he comes busting out, and we're just pissing ourselves out. Because, I mean, these are amazing photos, and there's really good advice on them, too. And so, I took one of them, the worst one, and Joe went to the trailer, and I put it, because me and Joe bought it together, and I put it in Joe's computer. And he's always on his computer, so I just thought he'd get a kick out of it when he comes back. He looks at it at the beginning of the day. Hear from him, then I just totally forgot about it. And every weekend, every Friday, we would get on the plane to go back home. This happened to be a Friday. So we're going back to serve families, and you have to go through customs. And so this is awesome. Like, you couldn't fucking make this better if you tried. And Chris Judge is with us. So Game of Thrones fans that don't know who Chris Judge, he's like me times 10. Just to kind of fill you in on that one. So we go through customs, and normally I'm the one with the dreads, and so they're always like busting me. I'm like, Phil, you know me, hello, I'm here every week, and they totally give me the search, and they didn't. They let me through, and they busted Flanagan, and they pulled him over, and so it's this little Asian lady, and they need to swab his computer, and so I'm literally like, I didn't figure out that it would be in there, and she literally opens his computer up, and we're just waiting, and she's just like, and like this woman going like this, very large, you know what I mean, and like there's this advice on there, very good advice, and she just freaks out, and she's like, you go now, and he turns, and he's like, whoa, he turns around, and I literally, I thought I was gonna get arrested, because I was red, pissing myself hysterical, all the way up 2.5 hours to LA. Like, it was the greatest setup of all time. This is when you applaud. Sorry, Mom.
Yep, back here.
Had it not been interrupted, who do you believe would have won the fight between Ronan Dex and Tilk?
The guy's like 60 years old. I was 20 at the time. He's an amazing athlete. Obviously, you know, I'm 20 years younger than him. So he just has really bad knees. But I mean, Tilt's amazing. It was a really fun fight to do, and Chris Judge he did all of his own stunts, and I got a pretty messed up story. We actually, normally when I had an opportunity to shoot those big guns, and so it was some Russian assault rifle, and we're in this tunnel, and normally you go to lunch, you come back, people warn you to put your earplugs in, and no one did, and I did put them in, and like literally his gun's right here, and I was like stone deaf for the day. Like it was ringing the next day, and I was super spooked, right when I shot the rifle and dropped the gun, and I'm like, thought my ears were bleeding out, because it was just like being in a tunnel like that with those huge guns that like really messed me up. I think that was his advantage, like he did it on purpose. He's like, don't choke anyone and put his earplugs in. That's just fine. I think that's what happened. Go ahead, anyone else please?
Yeah. Are you considering working on Marvel's upcoming movie, Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy? No, I'm not doing that one, unfortunately. It wasn't right in the cards this time, but me and Marvel have a pretty good relationship, so hopefully someday I'll get to play something. Does anyone have any more of this delicious any more coffee? Okay, go ahead.
How you doing? I was just wondering what your relationship is these days with Joe and David. Good, David bad, Joe
You know
good.
what? Really good. I'm really tight with everyone, but we all have families, so it's hard to see each other. But I just finished a movie with David. He's directing a movie called Debug, and he wrote it. And he brought it to me like last year.